the Redcat Wendigo. This is an awesome, fast basher truck with a little bit of scale to it. You know, really, it's a fun truck. My biggest issue with it has been with the rear sway bar. It's weak. I've been wanting a stronger sway bar since the first day I drove it, back when I drove Sean's for the review. So now I've got a Reefs Swaybar, and I'm going to make this fit the back of it. It will require some drilling into the chassis, so be ready for it. Guys, take a look. The stock sway bar is, well, the rod is small. Right there you can see the rod is just a small diameter rod. The arms are really long, so that just makes it that much more ineffective. It just doesn't really do much at all. I mean, I don't know, it just may as well not even be there. So we're going to fix that with a Reefs sway bar. This is what you get in the Reefs sway bar kit. You get these nice ends right here. They are pre-threaded, so those go right in without a lot of work. This is not a normal install, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to cut the bar down, and I may not be able to use the full length of those. I may cut those or add some spacers. Anyway, it's time to get to work. With the wheels and tires off, it is time to take the sway bar loose. We're going to take those 4 bolts out right there and those bolts right here. Those bolts use a 2mm hex wrench. That way, all this is coming right off. With the stock sway bar off, believe it or not, it actually feels, wow, it feels nice and stiff. It's just not very effective on the truck. Looking for the proper placement to drill the hole in the frame. This looks about right. It should give me just about the right angle and allow me to use multiple holes. I might back it up to about right there and start drilling. It's important to measure the holes so they are the same. I just drilled in the middle of the chassis, and the actual hole, the hole center is about 40.6 millimeters from the end of the chassis. The drill bit I'm using is 2.32 millimeters in diameter. That's basically 1/16 inch. Both holes fully drilled. You can see the sway bar right here. I used 3mm washers to clear the chassis bolts. And as you can see, I've got a lot of leftover that I've got to cut off. When I cut it off, I've also got to do a new flat. That way the set screw has something to bite onto, and that the sway bar works. Cutting the length down of the sway bar actually stiffens the bar. And say, you know, you have 2 inches of difference between the end of this arm and this arm, you're more susceptible to actually twisting the bar, you know, with it being shorter than the bar being longer, because there's less space for it to make the twist. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. Hopefully I explained it right. And you have this piece right here, the arm, which goes down into there. There is quite a bit of slop down there, so I'm going to have to add another spacer or a bushing down there as well. However, with this in place, I'm happy with how it seems to be coming together. I now have a spot where I can go ahead and make the cut. The sway bar is cut. There's no going back now. It is what it is. Now I get to take this back out and set this up perfectly flat to where I can grind that to match that. If not, the arms won't be level, and I'll have to try to make up for it by adjusting the links. I'd rather not do that. Sway bar is in place, and it looks like I did a pretty good job on the cut. Looks good. Now it's time to put these in place, and it's going to require definitely some spacers to make up that distance. Okay, it is on. Oh man. That's what I wanted to see right there. Looks like it still has a little bit of articulation, which is perfect. I've got it on the outermost holes, which means I've got some adjustment in to make it stiffer. I don't believe I'll need that though. And it looks like it's perfect. Ah, I found some 2mm spacers to go into the bottom. Down there, it's kind of hard to see, but they are there. Now, with the sway bar directly on the chassis, you know, no plastic or anything like that, it's a possibility there may be some squeaks or some rattles. And with this particular truck, I really don't think we're going to hear any of that. However, we're about to find out because I'm fixing to put the wheels and tires on this and get it outside. Let's check that torque twist. Ooh, gotta watch that back, don't I? Definitely kicking up at the front right. Hopefully these sway bar will fix that. Definitely got some lean that way. A little flat this way, but then again, you know, it torque twists the other direction. Set my radio for bash mode. And let's go ahead and hit these ramps. Yeah, beautiful. One thing about this truck, it does jump well, for the most part. All right, a few more jumps here. You can hear the tires just absorbing it. And that's kind of why I like these big tires, I really do. Bought 2 different sets of 2.2 wheels for them. And neither one of them fit due to the C-hub design. But, you know, that's the design for hauling butt. Which it does pretty well. Wow, I was heading straight for that pole. See what it's got for torque twist now. Wow, reverse is nasty. Seems to ride a little flatter. Ah, finally. Let's go ahead and hit some jumps while we're lined up for them. Now with that stiffer rear sway bar, it actually helps it on the jumps in my opinion because it doesn't allow that rear axle to torque. You know, if that rear axle is torqued over, it'll launch the truck and kind of give it a little bit of a twist. That is beautiful. This thing jumps great. Wow. Hit these jumps. That's nice. Corner's better. Will it come over? Of course it will. One more jump. There we go. Let's see what the stock sway bar has got. Ugh. Wind is horrible sometimes. That and an itchy trigger finger. Come on now, stay on there. Try to follow this same line when I get the other sway bar on, but you know, sometimes it's really hard to do.
because the truck will react differently, or my steering won't be quite right, or my throttle will be a little off, like this spot right here. If the darn truck would turn, it would be nice. See what that Reefs has got right here. See how that rear sway bar works out here. Gotta be careful on my thumb here. Not bad. Looks like the articulation was still there, but it's more stable though. I just wish this thing would turn. See how these two sway bars work on this. Try to follow the same lines, but sometimes, ooh, you know what I forgot to do? Put it in crawler mode. It's in crawler mode now. Still got flex, so it is not all gone, that's for sure. I think that's a good thing. Let's see if we can get something here. Let's see here, we got something. That tire's in the air. Here. That tire is up over there. All right, let's see here. We're definitely floating the tire. That is a horrible turn when you're trying to go all the way up it. Beautiful.
So what do you guys think? Personally, I like the sway bars at both ends. For a reason being, this is more of a basher solid axle truck, you know? It's not so much a crawler where you need, 60 and 70 degree steering for real high level competition. So this thing in the rocks is kind of out of its place. It's best on the trail, bashing around in sand, having some fun on some hills, and just overall having fun. That's the whole goal for this. Now, as far as the sway bars go, I am keeping both of them. For me, bashing around, I feel it actually helps the truck keep it a little more stable, a little more level. It doesn't allow it to just torque over so bad, especially when you're taking off. Now, when I did the front sway bar, it helped the reverse quite a bit as well. at least from what I could see while driving it. So all in all, I think the truck is a benefit with both of these sway bars on it. Now, as far as the steering goes, it's got the Holmes SHV 500 V3. So steering is not an issue when it comes to the servo. This thing, that's a great servo. The limit on the steering is in the C-hubs and the axle shafts. Now, the C-hubs are designed with a lot of caster, camber, Ackerman, I forget the term of that right now, but there's a lot of it there. So it really limits the turn sharpness at the knuckles, but also the axle shaft. There's no portals on this. So there's no gear reduction, no torque reduction at the axle shaft. So they had to go thick on the axle shaft diameter, and that cuts down on steering as well, at least with this design right here. You can trim the knuckles, you can try to do all that, but your gains are going to be minimal at best. It's just not available due to the axle shaft diameter. And the axle shaft diameter I'm referring to is right there behind the ball where the cup comes around. That's where your major limit is, right there. And if you bind out that axle shaft and turns just trying to get, a couple more degrees, well, you're going to be buying some replacement parts. So anyway, I'm just leaving my steering like it is because for what the truck is meant to be and meant to do, I think it's perfect. The Holmes 3500 kV Puller Pro motor, wonderful. The Castle Mamba Monster X ESC, wonderful. So there's no issues with the driveline. It's amazing to me, and I know I'm running on a little bit right now, that the drive shafts have held up. I mean, they don't look like quality drive shafts, but they've taken some abuse. They're kind of chewed up on the splines a little bit from rocks. But yeah, I'm really happy that the truck has survived. So yeah, maybe I'll find some wheels that'll fit this thing. Got to do some looking around. Guys, hopefully you liked the video. Check that description for links for the Holmes servo, the Holmes motor, the Castle ESC, the Reefs Swaybar, which is what this video is all about, and other parts and pieces of the truck in case you happen to break them, like the plastic tie rod ends and link ends and all that stuff. There are affiliate links in the description for eBay, AMain, and Amazon. If you have something in your cart, just come back to any one of my videos, click one of those links and go check out. It helps out with a little bit of a commission, and every little bit helps. Keeping up to date with these cars is not a cheap thing. Guys, hopefully you liked the video. Check that description, and thank you all for watching.
If you guys like what you see, make sure you're subscribed. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. If you really, really like what you see, consider clicking on that join button down below. With that, you can actually become a channel member. Members get early viewing of many of the videos and, a little bit more personalized. Guys, thank you all for watching.